Another day, another dollar, and another day, another live stream. Welcome back to the channel. There's a lot of things to discuss. Old Firm news, fallout, reaction. It's beginning to die down, but there's still a lot of ridiculous comments out there from former players, pundits galore, and also fans. So we'll dive into a wee bit into that. But got a bit of Scotland fallout as well. But yeah, I get it. A lot of people don't really care about Steve Clarke, or somebody put it, Jurassic Clark. So we'll see how that goes. But it's 10 o'clock. And anybody that needs called out, we'll address them by name. We won't bottle it here on Fog Football. Who that was directed to? Who was that directed to, everybody? Let me know. Answers on a postcard. Send me a postcard, as Rick Grimes would say. But everybody, welcome. And we've got some Graeme Souness comments to dive into. And I feel like he's just constantly digging himself a hole here. Because he simply said, Rangers just need to spend 50 million to catch Celtic. Just that simple, Graeme. Just that simple. Spend 50 million and Rangers will be on their merry way to winning trophies again. Is it that simple? Of course it's not, but we'll dive into that a wee bit later. We'll go through Twitter. We'll read some articles. We'll talk about Steve Clarke, Jurassic Clark, whatever you want to call him. And also, I guess we could talk about the fallout of the League A and the Nations League, of course, because I believe in our group, it was 2-1 to Portugal. They beat Croatia 2-1. To be honest, that's what we want. We want Portugal just to win the other 4 games that aren't against us. And we'll see where that goes. But we'll let a few people get into the chat before I move forward. Press ahead, so to speak. But I tell you what, it's toasty, though. It is absolutely toasty. James Tavernier as well. Could be on his way to Qatar. Could be on his way to Turkey. I don't care where he goes. As long as he leaves the football club, it has to happen. It absolutely has to happen. Jeez, what's happening there, man? That's no ideal. That's no ideal. Get your comments in, everybody. Was this the wrong time to do a live stream at 10 o'clock? Potentially. Potentially was the wrong time to do a live stream, but we're going to talk about Graeme Souness here. Right, so 50 million, right? 50 million. Graeme Souness is saying to spend. Yeah, only 50 million, right? I don't think there's any circumstance where this would have been like smart to say, but say Rangers qualified for the Champions League and didn't spend a penny of it, right? That gives you a lot of money to play with, but is it realistic that Rangers would have spent the 50 million? Or, he says that like Celtic have got a transfer embargo and can't spend any money for like 4 years. Celtic are better than Rangers, says Stephen. Really? Didn't think that. That's fucking ruined my evening. But serious. Rangers spend 50 million. Where's that coming from? No one knows. Souness plucks it out like Rangers have got 50 million to spend. Realistically, I don't know what Rangers have got to spend, right? I was going to say there's probably better people in charge of the finances than me, but that wouldn't exactly fill me with much hope. But say Rangers have got, I would say at most, what have we got to spend? It's probably between 5 and 10 million, man. Because, if it was anything more than that, you've got to question why it wasn't spent in that window. And honestly, you've seen the amount of loans to buys. Me putting that sort of price tag on it's generous. We had to get the wage bill down. We did that by quite a bit. So, 50 million, it depends how you spend it. Rangers could spend 10 million, right? And if it's smart buys, we could absolutely close the gap. Celtic did it with Ange, all right, Jota, Carter Vickers, a lot of money spent there, but Maida, Hatate, Kyogo, Matt O'Reilly, players like that, they weren't, there wasn't a lot spent on them. You can absolutely find cheap bargains who've got the right work ethic to bring into this football club. But in terms of like bona fide stars who can come in and do the here and now, it probably is close to 50 million, like 11 million on Arnie Engels. Rangers just don't have that in the locker right now. We don't. It's a reality that we're dealing with, everybody. And Graeme Souness is an absolute moonbeam for coming out and saying that, just 50 million. He got called deluded by Martin O'Neill, but we're not going to dive into that too much because there'll be a video coming on the channel talking about that. So, yeah, Souness, great things he's done for Rangers. I'm never going to take that away from him, but just because you've done great things doesn't mean everything you say is 100% correct. I mean, come on, it's not. You know, it's the same guy that said there was nothing in the game and your Rangers could have won it on a different day. But how can he go between it was an even game to like the next Rangers need to spend 50 million like it's a throwaway comment? What? You know, we're not talking 5 million here. Oh, Rangers are 1 or 2 or 3 players away. I think he said he might have said they're 3 or 4 players away, but 3 or 4 players away spending 50 million. I mean, that means you're spending like what 15 million on 3 players. You know, 12 million on 4 players. It's like that adds up, man. Rangers don't have 4 million or 12. Probably don't have 4 million, but 12 million to spend on 4 players. Big ask, absolute big ask. But Steve Clark, who wants to talk about Steve Clark? Does anybody want to? Oh, that's not good. Serious injury to the big man that plays for Arsenal. Riccardo Calavori, everybody. Riccardo Calavori. Right, what are we going to put up for a poll? I don't know what we're going to put up for a poll here. This isn't if this was my stream, you could put up. I can put the Rangers badge into the chat, which a lot of people. Would 50 million? We'll put this up for a poll. Would 50 million get Rangers on equal playing fields with Celtic? The problem is, if you get that 50 million, you need to spend it right, man. We can't just whip. Souness can't turn around and say those things. We've got one vote that went yes, so one person thinks that Rangers can absolutely do it, which is good to see. So yeah, James Tavernier. What about James Tavernier? James Tavernier could be on his way to Rangers Football Club. And I tell you what, an intriguing thing. Steven Gerrard, right, has tweeted a picture, blue sea of Ibrox, and I tell you what, I need this picture. Could Steven Gerrard be on his way back to Glasgow? Probably not, because I believe he needs 2 more years in Saudi Arabia in order to get his money tax-free, so he doesn't get shafted when he returns to the UK. So I get it. Leaving Rangers right for my career, says Cantwell. Much will Tav leave for? I think around $1 million. If he does go, I wouldn't bet much money though on James Tavernier going. Scotland's capacity for self-sabotage delivers fresh horror. Who should Scotland pick for Portugal test? We'll probably get into that in a wee bit. But, I mean, honestly, Scotland, that last night, man, that was soul destroying watching that. No, most people don't care, and some people that didn't care had money on Poland, I've seen. So I tell you what, Poland would have been a good bet. Steve Clark, Scotland lost game we shouldn't have, but we did. I said this. See, when you're 1 win out of 12 and then you make it 1 out of 13, it doesn't matter how you lose the match, right? The fact of the matter is this: you've lost the match. It's the same with Clermont, right? Rangers could put their best performance of the season in, right, against Dundee United. If we get beat 1-0 due to a lucky goal and they've got 1 shot on target, we know how he loves shots on targets, by the way. Are we going to honestly sit here and pretend that matters, that we are buzzing about it? Who gets the Scotland job after Clark? Derek McKinns. We'll give it Davy Moyes. Davy Moyes, Derek McKinns, someone in that ballpark. I mean, I get it. People probably think that Clark and McKinns is quite similar, and I can see why. There's one glaring difference between the two. I'll put that up for the imagination to work that one out. But let's see here. What is going on there? That's no good. What the hell, brother? What the hell? Right, what was I talking about last there? I'm trying to look for a wee bit of news, but there's really not much happening. What's going on there? Right, so James Tavernier. Much will he go for? I'm going to predict around $1 million. We've got 50 viewers in. Hit that like button, everybody. Get your comments in, because it's not only what I'm supposed to talk about here in the title. Whatever people comment, I'll talk about, right? Here on Fog Football. I tell you what, though, it's toasty tonight, everybody. It's very toasty. Very, very toasty. Summer's over after tomorrow, though. Tomorrow looks like the last nice day, and then it's goodbye. Good night, Irene. All that talk. Looks like it's going to be all over. In other news, a new 29.5 million bridge opens across the River Clyde. What do we make of that? Is that good? Is that brilliant? Big John Cena. Personally, get the questions in. Where are you getting your 50 mil? I don't know. Down the back of the sofa. We're not getting it, right? As soon as talk about how shite the Rangers are. Have I not done that enough, though? Come on. New material. I want new material. First comment got removed. Well, what was your first comment? I didn't remove it. There's no mods here on this channel to remove comments. Microsoft. Oh, I said personally, I'm sweating my CUNT. We'll say that to keep YouTube happy. My cunt. Ooh, aye, yeah, it's very warm. I'm sweating here. I'm sweating. Auto mod. Seriously, Stevie 1 mil. Who the folk would pay that? We need something, man. I don't know who would pay it. I mean, I wouldn't pay it, but I don't even care at this stage. Just get him off the wage bill. I'm done. I'm done. I'm seeing Rangers. I've watched a few podcasts. Right, there was a guy on the Rangers rabble. Can't remember his name. He said it was scumbag behaviour confronting James Tavernier outside the stadium. It's not scumbag behaviour. It's not. I mean, it was guy confronting James Tavernier. There was nothing physical. There was nothing being thrown. There was no violence. It was simply verbal confrontation, and I think that should be perfectly fine. I've already talked about it a million times, but if the guy was giving threats to James Tavernier and saying, I'm going to do this to you and your family, absolutely, that would bang at the order, right? But saying to James Tavernier that he's not good enough and he's a loser and he tells him to leave the club, well, I mean, that to me, that needs to be said, or else we're seriously, it's the Hall of Famer away. No, he's not away. Good day. I thought you would make a video about Ibrox, the 8 o'clock kickoff. Wait. But getting back in because season ticket holders can't all get back in, so have to keep using Hampden. Hampden's no good. Hampden's done, everybody. Hampden's done. Right? We're back at Ibrox, 21st of September. Don't worry about it. Right? Rangers board might be worse than Celtic board when it comes to indecisiveness. You lot should have sold Tab and Butland in the summer. Could have maybe got 20, 30 million for both to reinforce. Right, Butland would have had to make up the 20 or the 30 million there. James Tavernier, we've seen the bids come in. James James has got to go. At least the Celtic board have kept us financially stable. But that's it. But Celtic have had that luxury, right? Where they haven't needed to spend money. If Celtic were constantly finishing second to Rangers, they would have had to spend it. But they haven't. If Rangers were constantly finishing first, they'd be able to bank the money. But transfer market is saying he's worth 7 mil. Transfer market's talking at its arse. There's some things you can take transfer market for. I'm not saying everything you can't take it for, but there's a lot of stuff that talks of shite. Yeah, Cantwell 9.5. Work that one out. Tav looks done. I agree. How much do you think it would take to close the gap between the two clubs? I think it's something that money can't buy. I mean, obviously money helps, but it's like if we're you look at this, you look at the two teams, right? Before people go look at Adea and Arnie Engels and things like that, right? We've talked about it. There's not see when you look at the two starting 11s, right? In terms of money and like benches, there's not a lot of money difference in it between the two between them, right? As I'm barely stringing a sentence here, but I'm thinking about Rangers. It's too hot. I'm about to melt here. But yeah, as Paul J says, it's all about mentality. You can't buy Well, you can buy players that are mentally strong, right? But I don't feel like it's almost like I think in the bygone era of football, most players were. They got it, right? See, in this current era, man, I just don't think they're going to be like, here, are you going to be mentally strong enough to fulfill a title fight here at Rangers. No, they're not. You look at last season, right? They didn't appear to be much in it. Celtic were suffering with injuries, right? I don't think there is 50 million between the clubs because, as I said earlier at the start of the feed, for the new people tuning in, it's how you spend your money. And, you've got O'Reilly, Kyogo, Hatate, Maida, players like that. Didn't cost an awful lot. You know what I mean? People like McGregor just coming through the team. It's the gap between Rangers and Celtic, right? People talk about the money, but I just don't really. I don't think it's the money as much. I don't. Obviously, Celtic can go out and spend more money, right? I get that, but when you compare the windows recently, take out the last one because they obviously spent like 20 million on 2 players, but they're able to sell their players, and because they're able to perform, you're able to say, look at Rangers, man. Even our players that are all right, we're letting go for on the team. I mean, look at what you're selling, like Cantwell and Wright. Well, Wright is worth about that, man. I'm not going to complain too much, but it's no good enough. This is the first of 2 heat waves this month. When's the second one? Yeah, Celtic all want to win. Rangers, well, they should all want to win, but they don't want to win. And I don't know why they don't want to win. It's Tav. Tav's a fucking loser. I don't. I mean, I feel like I'm going to go into rant mode soon, but I'm not going. I'm going to hold back. I'm going to hold back 18th of September. I'll be toasty enough then. What do you need to become a Hall of Famer at Rangers? 3 empty crisp bags and a disappointed face. James Tavernier. He's absolutely pish. It's like Man City versus Tranmere Rovers financially. It's not that bad, Terp Lab, reel it in. Is there a gap financially? Obviously, right? The Champions League helped that tenfold, right? And over the next couple of years, I think the gap will automatically close because Celtic won't get the Champions League money. They could qualify for it, but it's going to be a lot harder to get into it. Of course, Tav will be desperate to leave. I bet he goes for pennies. He will. He'll go for pennies. I agree with that. I think it's all about mentally, man. Players, I get it. It's one thing stepping up against Ross County, but I don't get it. We've seen these Rangers players turn up in tough European days. But, away to Real Betis is tough on paper, but when you think of it, it doesn't, nowhere near does it, match the intensity and the levels to win an Old Firm game. Because the proof is in the pudding. We just don't fucking win them anymore. Don't know what a win is. So, I'm glad Kyogo gets the break. Yep. Is he going to get that shoulder surgery wrapped up? I am not too sure. Right, let's see. Scotland, transfer news. James Tavernier, I'm begging you. Madhouse Souness has a full head of hair at 71, while Clement was bald when he was 25. I mean, it's just genetics, man. I mean, I could bore everyone to death here about DNA and all that shite, but that's just how it goes. I don't think the gap will be closed anytime soon, neither do I. As much as that is annoying to say, I just don't see how it is. I just don't understand. No meltdowns tonight. Paul's spoken. There'll be no meltdowns tonight. I promise. There'll be no meltdowns. But it's all in the head. Meltdowns and the gap. That is, man. I don't think Souness watched the game on Sunday and just looked at. I tell you what, man, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't watch it. But why would he come out and spout that pish? Is it delusion? Or is it because he's an ambassador and he feels like he can't. I can see Rangers getting relegated for winning the league. That's a pretty bold statement there from Mackenzie, but I just feel like we're so far off winning the league. 50 million would make a dent in the debt bill. Never mind the gap Celtic has created. 50 million. But see, for Rangers to spend 50 million, they would have to make about 100 and something. It's one thing Rangers making 50, but they're not going to spend 50. I think people need to realise the difference there. I agree. Take whatever you can for Tav. There's no end product with Tav anymore, but he's not the worst player for Rangers on the park. there is no end product from him. He's awful going forward. He's awful going back. Is he the worst player on the pitch? He's one of them. Don't think he's necessarily the worst, but you know what? Your captain is held to higher regard, everybody. And if Cal McGregor was putting in the same sort of shifts as James Tavernier is right now, man, it would be getting called out at Celtic. Scott Brown in his last year for Celtic was really bad, right? But I mean, I get it. Scott Brown, I'm not look at my trophies he won, right? But every Celtic fan in this chat knows that Scott Brown was really bad in his last season, right? It wasn't just him, but for Tav, he needs to go. The legacy's already done. There's no legacy. James Tavernier's legacy is that he pretty much whipped out the red carpet for Celtic to overtake Rangers in every meaningful stat. That's his legacy. I don't care about his free kicks. I don't care about his tap-ins. I don't care about his worldies. I don't care about anything. Some German journalists say Engels was a steal and he could have the highest ceiling of any modern day Celtic player. What do you think? Well, I'll tell you what. If he's got the highest ceiling, I mean, all that means he only needs to go for is more than 30 million. The fact that Celtic signed them for 11, the market, inflation, all that shite. Would I be surprised if Celtic sold Engels after a couple of great seasons for like 40 million? I wouldn't, because that's the way the market's going. Players are going to go for more and more money, and he's young, and he's already established in the Bundesliga. You know what I mean? I feel like when Matt O'Reilly, he came for League One. If Engels performs in Champions League, right, and performs in the league, people who are signing them from the Premier League will be like, but look, he did it in the Bundesliga before Celtic, and he plays for his national team. He will. I think the writing's on the wall there. I think he'll break the transfer record if he doesn't pick up injuries, right? And he played for Belgium today. There you go, against Israel. Did they win though? Did he start? Tell you what, I mean, all the writing's there for him to break. He came on. All the writing's there for him to break the record. It is 20-year-old. It is what it is. Stevie, your main problem is no style of play except lump it to death. So don't forget. Yeah, Clement's got to go. Clement be a starter next year. Tav is being slaughtered by Rangers fans. What about the other 10 heroes? They've all got their pelters as well. But like I say, the captain gets a lot. Is James Tavernier a scapegoat? Yes. Is he good enough? No. I mean, that is it. The captain is going to come under a lot of slack, but his mentality has just poisoned the rest of the dressing room. It has. I'm not delusional, man. There's a lot of people out there that are delusional, but see when Rangers sell Tavernier, and if it happens this window or happens in January, it happens next season, doesn't mean it's going to get better straight away. Same with Barisic when he left. Same with Kemar Roofe. Same with John Lundstrom. Same with Morelos. Same with Kent. Same with all these guys. You need to be properly replaced, and you need to up their scouting game, absolutely. But hit the like button, everybody. I'm feeling the heat. Super chats as well. Super chats go down quite well with Big Stevie here on a toasty Friday night. Forgot it's a Friday night. Never trust a bald manager. You need a manager with hair. Gerrard had hair, and you guys were good under him. I get that, but I mean, how far do you go? Like balding hair? How much hair's hair? Like, Walter Smith, Martin O'Neill, those guys, they had hair, but it's not hair you would inspire to have at the end of the day. Ravi Matondo shot himself playing against Celtic. He did. Now he's injured for 4 to 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks, whatever. Big arse collapse. Ravi Matondo. I'm not bald, just too tall for my hair. Enlighten me. Who will buy him? I don't know. Some Guitar club? Some Diddy club? I don't care who buys him, man. See, as long as he goes, that's what suits me down to the ground. As long as James Tavernier's at this club, we're better with him, man. He's not even providing any assists or goals. Could they had a few assists if Dessers and Matondo and co had their shooting boots on against Celtic? Yep. But he still would have lost the game. No good enough. I mean, come on, man. James Tavernier needs to go. Mediocrity cannot be put up anymore. It can't. Paul, Hulk Hogan, brother. That's what I'll say. If Dessers gets hurt, season, that's another. I mean, the Europa League squad, right? I've already did a full watch along over on my channel. Well, not watch along, it was a reaction live stream. Look at the Europa League squad, man. Dessers is it. Danilo's not in the European squad. The only saving grace for that is like, well, you know what? It means maybe Danilo can take a front seat, right, for the league games. But even that, man, there's no guarantee that's going to work because Dessers plays every. You can't play every minute every season, man. It eventually, catches up to you, and you'll have one big injury. We've seen it with Goldson, and the less said about Connor Goldson, I'd say the better right now. I don't know what he's doing over in Cyprus, but Steve, you should do an Ireland England watch along. That'll be a tasty game. I tell you, Mackenzie, I think this is Dessers' last season at Rangers. I don't rate Dessers, right? But say we did sell him to Atlanta, or was it no Atlanta United, the MLS side for $6 million was the rumor, right? What's the end game there? Were we going to bring in? I mean, there was rumors that Rangers were in talks with Shankland. What were Rangers going to do if we actually sold Cyril Dessers? Because we agreed to it. Who are we going to bring in? As much as I think Dessers is pish, he's the best option we've got at the club up front. I don't know. But as for Ireland, England, who will win that game? I tell you what, it'll be a hostile atmosphere. And I think Ireland will do a better job against England than what we've done in the past bunch of years. Say past bunch of years, I guess. I mean, the 0-0 at Wembley was all right, but that 3-1 at Hampden last year was absolutely. I mean, that's a year ago, actually. That's a fucking year ago. How mad's that? That's a year ago. Fuck, time flies when you're not having fun. You're clinically depressed watching Rangers. Is Butland still worth 30 million? No, Butland's value is absolutely going down. I think you'll be 7 points behind after Dundee United game. Well, Clement's got to go if that's the case. If we're 7 points behind, he's got to go. Did you see when Bernardo went into the box and Proper tackles Barron? Proper is a clown. Proper's absolute mince. I don't understand. I mean, people pretend that Proper's better than what's his face? Sutter. He's not. Clark, time is over. Jurassic Clark. Butland is worth 2 empty ginger bottles. How many years contract you're going to have to pay Sick Note Danilo for? 2028. Butland. Who's this Sammy Joe guy? Kicking about in your Adidas top trying to act hard. Who's acting hard? Who's acting hard here? Enlighten me. We're having an adult discussion here about what are we talking about? The Europa League squad. That's what we're talking about. We kind of got sidetracked there. Scales is better than Proper. I agree. Bloody Anthony Ralston walks into that Rangers team at the minute. As bad as that is. We have some midfield, even in depth. Bernardo, Engels, McGregor, Hatate, Luke McCown, Odin, Thiago Home. Absolutely. There is a lot. Where is the bevy? You're in your room on a Friday. Sammy, big man. This is called working. I know somebody like Sammy Joe doesn't know what a job is, so I totally get that. But this is my job. I'll let you know. So I'm not sitting here like a diddy man on a Friday in my room alone. No way I've got to see you live. It's about time. Welcome to the party, Chris. Thought Tony Ralston was good last night. Scales kept his head down and got better. If this is your job, God bless you with your 83 viewers. Thank you, Sammy Joe. 83 viewers. You know what, big man? It's all about having ambition in life. Seeing you've got millions in the bank like I do, you take a risk. How toxic does it get when Rangers get pumped by Dundee United next weekend? Pumped draw. It's going to be very bad regardless at the end of the day. It is, there's no... It's going to be There's no two ways about it. Rangers can't afford many more slip-ups. I don't think people will be bothered too much about the Europa League. But any more slip-ups in the league, man, first place is sayonara, man. It's done. It's done, right? But if we're slipping up anymore to Aberdeen, Dundee, I mean, we're playing Dundee United. I think they're a point ahead. They're on 8. We're on 7. We could be 4 points behind Dundee United. You know what I mean? That's a reality. I still think we'll finish second with ease, but there is a real possibility that we could be, 7, 8 points behind Aberdeen. You know what I mean? If Clement goes next month, who's your next boss? I don't know. I don't even care who the next boss is. Anyone would be better than Clement. Would be better than Clement. You're still greeting after last week. Keep greeting, wee man. Come on then. I wasn't greeting last week. I wasn't greeting. It was rant mode. It was meltdown mode. I wasn't greeting though. He's on his second bottle. Sammy Joe doesn't know YouTube pays better than a 9 to 5 sometimes. You can make a lot from little views if your RPM is good. That's it. Sibo gets it. Sibo gets it. And this isn't the only channel I've got, by the way. I run a tight ship here. For the other side, but I love what you do. Funny and speak the truth. Respect. Thank you, Chris. If you finish third, I think your club will become even more. Well, obviously, if we finish third, man, I don't know what's going to happen if we finish third. What the heat, man. Absolutely melting. I think dodgy Dave King try and bring in Frank Lampard. Hopefully not. There's something really shady going on with Daniel not getting named in the European squad. Well, he's injured for 4 weeks. I don't get it though, because Cortez is injured. So what would be? Ever see Hearts guy's face? If you look hard enough, you'll find it. Go on his own channel. I think Rangers fans have turned on Stevie. Come join the winning side. You know what? I think maybe in pre-season a lot of people were thinking I was too negative, but I would say pretty much here. I had some guy called Adam on transfer deadline day night. Square go called her fail, and then he came in and apologised the other day because he says everything I said was right. It takes a while for people to realise what's going on at their club, and right now it's really bad, But yeah. Funny, honest guy, brilliant. That's the end of October. Europa League runs till January. Well, that's it. Well, no, but he's out for 4 weeks. That's the start of October. Danilo is going to miss the Malmo game and the Lyon game, right? So that's 6 other games that he could do with. See when Dessers has knocked his pan in 70 minutes into like the game at Old Trafford and we're 0-0, 0-0, and we could bring on another guy and it should be Danilo. He won't be there to call upon. It'll be Kieran Doyle to stick up front. So, but yeah, it's not good. Not good. Butland was playing golf against Tubes before the Celtic game. More worried about his handicap than a clean sheet. He came out after the game, man, and was like, "Oh, I was pleased with my own performance." Maybe my positioning was a wee bit off for the the second goal. Just a wee bit, Jack. Just a wee bit. Surprised me McCausland isn't in the Europa squad. He was the other admission. I didn't notice he wasn't in it. Why is that though? I mean, I'm glad he's not. He's pish, but you're right. I'm surprised he's not in it. Yeah, just a lack of homegrown talent that's in it, man. Just no Leon King in it. You think we would try and push a bit of the youth, the youngsters, the young Scottish players into the team to try and get the numbers up. But now we're going in with a 21-man squad. A few are injured. A few aren't good enough. It's like if injuries pile up, man. I wonder what happens though. What's happening? What's happening, Kieran? I don't know. You tell me. Pish. 21-man squad with an injury records club that is absolutely horrendous. I think there's a real possibility that Rangers could be walking into a few of these Europa League games with like 14 names on the team sheet, like 11 players, but then I don't know how it works. maybe the rule is, but see, Hearts, right? If anyone looked at Hearts' squad, we did a video on it earlier, cheap plug to the Hearts fan. No one really cares about Hearts, but Hearts had about 50 players in your Conference League squad, but a lot of them were young, under 21 Scottish players. So I think that is the loophole. I think you don't necessarily need to include them in your squad to play them. Maybe I'm wrong. What happened to King? I don't know what happened to King. Not good. What happened to Leon King? Again, you've got Leon King and Salah. I could probably get his name out there. Dave King, I don't know what happened to Dave King. Last I heard, he threw out that wee American bid, 150 million. That's out the window. How much is Clement's contract worth? 5 million. We're not paying that. Unnamed, underage, McCausland doesn't need to be named. The jail. That happened to Dave King. Top Gear on the background. The hovercraft. But, right, what about this poll then? Would 50 million get Rangers on equal playing fields with Celtic? That's no good. That's no good. I think you're class, but your pairing these videos are golden. Well, I'm glad some people find them amusing. Right. How come your Jambo brother's never on camera? He has, as I said there, you got to look hard enough. I'm the live stream man. Some people don't. Some people can't handle live streams. I handle everything. But I never used. I only started doing live streams in, was it April or May? I think it might have been May. I think it was the start of May. And I never thought I'd like them. But you know what? I fucking love live streams. I just love them a wee bit more if Rangers were doing better, but they're not. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Right, we'll end that poll. Would 50 million get Rangers on equal playing fields with Celtic? 84% went with no, 15 went with yes. And if people that can do math, that adds up to 99%, which doesn't make any sense. You would take about 50 million just to bring Rangers up to date, never mind players. Yeah, but the problem is, see Souness saying that, man. Rangers spend 50, and what are Celtic doing? Are they just sitting with their thumbs up their arses? No, they'll be spending money as well. No one sits still in football. You either go forward or you go backwards. Unfortunately for Rangers, we've went backwards quite a lot. And it's quite undeniable to say that. Malmo manager's highly shocked he didn't get picked by a bigger club. Brighton wanted him to use similar tactics to Ange. That worries me. That definitely worries me. Because Malmo just loves scudding our teams. And Rangers obviously didn't do too good against Malmo last time. The Scottish League seems to be getting worse. It always seems to be one step forward, two steps back. Like you've got a good Hearts team, right? They fall through. Aberdeen come up. What you need is a bunch of teams challenging, man. That's what you need. But I don't know. Have we ever going? It's been 40 odd years since we're seeing a team outside the old firm win the league. Graeme Souness is like the king of the happy clappers. He is. I agree, Craig. I pretty much repeated all that earlier. It's got nothing to do with the finance between the players on Sunday. You look at it, and there's not much in the starting 11s, as you've said there. It's all to do up here mentally. Don't get it. Mentally weak. Yeah, I don't know what Souness' problem is, man. He just needs to learn to shut up. It's like, I don't get it. And then some people's loving his comments, and then like McCoy comes out and says it as it is. By the way, Ali McCoy says it as it is, and he gets absolutely buried for it. Only thing I know is I'm fitter than this bunch. I'm a lane swimmer. We get fitter in the pool. It used to be Mind the Gap, now it's Mind the Cannon. Are those Tav comments? The real Rangers will be here in October real because they are Jesus, man. He never learns. I think Clement said that. Yeah, maybe Tav did say it. I wouldn't be surprised. It's not about the money, how hard you work, and how you're good. That's it. I don't even think it's mental. I think Celtic are just better coached. Each player knows their role and what to do. With Rangers, we're just hoping things happen. It's not just mentally, but I think that's the key thing. I think it was the most evident thing on Sunday. Celtic score, crowd go ballistic, gets disallowed, Rangers never recovered. But you're right, Rangers looked like they had a structure though for 12 minutes, but see once a collective team's head goes, see once 11 heads go on the pitch, see your structure goes out the window. It does. Might give you hope, but Malmo sold their best striker for 11 million last week to some club in France. Brilliant. How much is a season is it for the EPL standard VAR instead of Andrew Dallison as wooden ruler for offsides? I don't know, man. But it's almost like everyone's forgot about VAR. The jump from B team to the first team is too big, and reserve football has to come back. I'm still confused about VAR. Same. What use of spending 50 million for a pay structure to cope? How we go? How are you? I'm all right. I'm better than all right. Celtic, we're always going to get to grips with the press. Rangers can't accept 90 minutes of Celtic not getting around it. And that's it. Did Rangers truly think, right, in that Old Firm game, it was the opening 10 minutes was going to be for 90 minutes? As soon as the going got tough, their arse went. And that is always the case. I say it's always the case, right? It's probably the best we've started an Old Firm in years, which is just tragic. That should be the norm. That's how you want your team to start. The way Rangers did, that's how I wanted them to start. Pressing high, getting in Celtic's faces, and then it quickly just folded. But that's the way. That should be the bare minimum. See after the opening 10 minutes, every Celtic fan been like, "This is a bit poor for us. Usually we're on top of Rangers," but you knew 10 seconds after the kickoff from the disallowed goal, it was over. I knew it was over. It was a matter of time before Celtic scored, and they did. Then they scored again. Then they scored again, and that was it. They didn't score again because it was only 3-0. Wages can only be a max of 70% of turnover. It's dropping again in the future. Here's the mental part. Rangers' game plan is to stop how Celtic's 11. Celtic's game plan is to focus on what we do best. See if our bet 11 is better. Rangers need to play their own game and focus on. I agree. Yeah, there's just a lack of fitness. It's just horrendous. Yeah, I think they'll beat Slovan Bratislava. I think it'll be an easy enough game. If you don't beat Slovan Bratislava at home in the Champions League, you don't deserve to go through. It's quite that simple. There is no with Celtic's form this season, and yeah, I will factor in pre-season. There's no excuse not to beat Slovan Bratislava. What's with the Rangers players' fitness, by the way? I feel like they're missing yards. Absolutely. I don't understand it. I mean, there's just a few players that have lost yards, let alone missing. But I just don't get it. I don't. But that's the thing, right? Clement would have known that Rangers team's missing yards, right? And they're lacking fitness. And to see if you are lacking fitness, right? You need to set up for that. The worst thing Rangers could have done if we were lacking fitness, which is all for there to see, if we're truly lacking fitness, which, like I said, it's there, then what you've got to do, you've got to set up for that. You can't have the team knock their pan in for 12 minutes running around if their fitness is non-existent. Because then the fitness that they've got is going to be done after 12, 20 minutes, man. And that's what it looked like. Clement is lost. Yep, I think he's lost. He's like the plane that crashed on the island and lost. He's done. It's all over. Yeah, I know. Why is he still insisting that Clement's doing a great job? I think Farr's fucked the game. I agree. I think it has. There's some elements of Farr that I think for every pro of Farr, there's two cons. Who would I take back from Rangers if you could in recent years? Recent years? I don't know. I mean, people laugh when you say Gerrard, and I get it. Celtic won 10 trophies in a row with Gerrard at the club, right? But I don't know, maybe Gerrard. But then, say Rangers brought Gerrard back. There's no guarantee it's going to work out. There's no guarantees in football. You know what I mean? I think Gerrard would get a better tune at these current players. I'm convinced he would, but he won't be back for another 2 years due to his Saudi Arabian money. Do you think Scottish Premiership games from top 6 get more TV views than bottom 12 teams in the EFL Championship? So if so, the TV deal is even more brutal for the league. I would say, well, it depends about Rangers and Celtic would in terms of viewership would smoke any team in the Championship, but I think with people down in England, like if you support a Premier League team, or if you're a casual viewer, there's more chance that you're going to watch an English Championship game over who's in the top 6, over Dundee United against St Mirren, for example. That's what we're looking at. I think that's just the way. Never go back. Absolutely, never go back. But big Brendan Rodgers went back to Rodgers. That could have worked. Souness doesn't want to have to agree with Simon Jordan over Clement, which is pathetic, by the way. What? How's he a pundit if he doesn't want to agree with another pundit? I get it. You don't have to like the guy to agree with him. Simon Jordan's an arsehole, but pretty much everything he said after the game was correct. And Simon Jordan's openly come out and said he wants Rangers to win the league. He doesn't like Celtic. He doesn't like the dominance. So, come on. Celtic pulled the three central midfielders of Rangers out into the wings, just like where Barron was for the offside goal. And Kalmak's goal, yep. And then it opened all that space. See the amount of times Celtic can just run through the middle of the Rangers midfield, man. It's bogging. Absolutely bogging. Right, everybody, we've went 46 minutes. I think this stream is coming to an end. Yeah, appreciate the super chats, appreciate the likes, smash the likes, send more super chats if you want. I'm not gonna bite that wee McCausland guy's mince. Yes, he is. He's absolute shite. He's not good enough. I get it. He's a Rangers man. Does he give it? No, but these people, all he gives is all for the badge. He doesn't look at the fucking third goal. He gave it away. He doesn't bother tracking back, man. Some people think because a player supports the club, they automatically give their all. Doesn't necessarily mean that, by the way. Doesn't necessarily mean that. Bluto. Absolutely, it's too warm. Hulk Hogan, wee man. That is it. That's what the double H stands for. What you gonna do, brother? When they took 4 shots on target at Kasper Schmeichel, brother. Real Fit will be back a week tomorrow. Yes, we've got Portugal on Sunday, and then Scottish Premiership returns next week. Also, Celtic is announced they're taking on Sligo Rovers in a friendly, bit of a weird mid-season friendly. And then obviously with the European football, you'll have the Champions League midweek next week. Well, the week after the football returns. So on the 15th, Celtic against Slovan Bratislava, then Rangers play the week after. Oh, no, the 18th, sorry, they play on the 18th, then Rangers play the week after. So, yeah, crazy times. Football's back. He's the new Glenn Middleton. Glenn Middleton was much better than Ross McCausland. Glenn Middleton, see against Villarreal, if people remember that game, Glenn Middleton was brilliant. Vince McMahon Netflix documentary out on September 25th. That'll be a good. Who Really Cares sends a super sticker, 99p. Appreciate that, Who Really Cares. But yeah, that Vince McMahon Netflix documentary looks like it'll be a good one. As for the game tomorrow, I don't know, but I've seen a lot of Irish fans upset because outside the England team hotel in Dublin, they were all getting like Maguire to sign their shirts and play other players. But half the people in the crowd, they'll hate England, but they'll be wearing like Manchester United and Liverpool tops. It's all fucking contradictory, like if you ask me. But that's it. That's where we're going to leave it, everybody. So yeah, football's back next week, the real football, but we've got a couple more internationals to talk about, I guess. And we're out of League A because we lost the easiest game. Steve Clark's got to go. There's no two ways about that. He won't go though. He'll definitely see out his contract. He'll definitely see out the World Cup qualifying, and we won't be getting to North America. It's safe to say on that one. But until next time, peace.